Wow, I am in tears because I just witnessed peak. I am in tears because I just witnessed greatness. I am in tears because I just witnessed probably the best thing that I have watched this entire year. I'm not even capping. I'm not even joking. I'm not even stretching this. I literally watched one of the best things this year, and this is from the best anime of all time, in my honest opinion. Now, I know that Naruto and One Piece are peak, but in my honest opinion, just my own preference, this is just how I feel. The best anime show in history, Dragon Ball Z, has dropped something that is so peak. They have just released a new show that is so peak. You're probably asking yourselves right now, yo, big bro, you are actually capping because this show is not new. This show got released around October 2024. Yes, that's true. It is not new to you guys, but it is new to me because I have been living under a rock for the last couple of months in terms of Dragon Ball Z, man. I have not really been catching up with the Dragon Ball franchise. Just earlier today, I was seeing that a lot of people, they were sharing around an image of Goku turning Super Saiyan 4 finally in mainline canon. And when I saw that, I was like, whoa, am I Patrick Star? Do I live under a rock? And I realized to myself that, damn, maybe I am, because I did not watch Peak for a couple of months. I think I'm a fraud because I didn't watch Greatness for a couple of months. Since I finally forced myself to watch Peak, I can now actually honestly and confidently say that, damn, Dragon Ball Daima is probably the best Dragon Ball show that I have seen in the last 20 years, man. Now, I know some people in the comments are gonna say that Super was great. Now, Dragon Ball Super was great for the most part, but we got to remember the first couple of seasons were just retreads and retellings of two Dragon Ball movies, Battle of the Gods and The Return of Frieza. And then Goku Black was pretty decent. It was pretty good, but it wasn't something that is breathtaking, or it wasn't something that was necessary to see, even though seeing Goku Black was pretty cool at the time. But the main thing that drew me to Dragon Ball Super, the main draw in my honest opinion, was the Jiren saga, was seeing the entire tournament of the universes and seeing how all of the crazy fights were at the time. And in my honest opinion, the Jiren versus Goku versus Frieza versus Android 17 fight was so peak. It was so great. It made me have many tears flowing down my eyes because, man, that fight was peak. But the reason why I'm bringing up Dragon Ball Super, and the reason why I'm thinking, in my honest opinion, you guys can disagree with me in the comments, but this is just me talking. But the reason why I think that Dragon Ball Super is inferior to Dragon Ball Daima is because of the animation, and that is the sole part. The other main part was the animation, because Dragon Ball Super did not really look good for the eyes. It was not really appealing because some of their animation shots were choppy, were ass, and were disappointing. Now, I'm talking about Dragon Ball Daima, because Dragon Ball Daima's animation is so great. It's so fluid. They really made this show look like a full-length movie that spanned through 19 episodes. I'm so shocked as to how good Dragon Ball Daima looks. Like, the shading looks good, the contrast looks good, the saturation looks good, the art looks good. Whoever drew this, they need the biggest and best raise, in my honest opinion. I'm not even glazing. Watch this show for yourself. This show really looks so good that when I was watching all 19 episodes, I was like, damn, these people cooked when they made this show, man. And now I'm talking about Dragon Ball Daima. Dragon Ball Daima fixed a lot of things that Dragon Ball fans didn't really like. for a couple of years, actually for a couple of decades, because you know Dragon Ball GT, right? Dragon Ball GT started off with Goku. He was turned into a child again, and we saw the story of Goku, Trunks, and Pan going on an adventure and trying to reverse whatever turned Goku into a child. Now, that first story was hot dookie in my honest opinion, and this is coming from someone who actually liked the latter half of GT. It only started to get good with the Baby Saga, but I had to bring up GT because Dragon Ball Daima fixed a lot of things from GT. They fixed the premise of Goku turning back into a child, because in Dragon Ball Daima, they didn't just make Goku turn back into a child, they made the entire Z Fighters turn back into children. They made the allies of the Z Fighters turn back into children, and this is because a mad king called King Gomah, he was the reason why they turned into children. King Gomah and the Gesu, they are from the demon realm, and during the events of the Majin Buu arc, they saw that Majin Buu was defeated by the Z Fighters on Earth. They were disgusted by seeing someone so powerful be defeated by mere mortals. The other thing that they saw was that they saw the revelation that Deborah got killed by Majin Buu during the Majin Buu arc. So King Gomah, he saw an opportunity to finally become the supreme leader, the supreme ruler of the three demon realms, the three demon worlds. So King Gomah, he took that opportunity and he now eventually became the new ruler of all three worlds. But the thing about this is that as they were looking on at the Z Fighters, they realized that, damn, we cannot let these guys come to the three demon worlds because we do not want them to fight us at their fullest strength. So their plan was to go into Earth and make sure that they become children. And the way that they do that is that they basically manipulate Popo and Dende. And the way that they do that is because when they reach down to their location, they intimidate Popo and Dende, and they basically use an old Namekian, the legendary old Namekian Neva, and they make Neva, he is so powerful that he basically called all 7 Dragon Balls. And mind you, all 7 Dragon Balls were just recently used not too long ago. So he's so powerful that he can basically call forth upon all 7 Dragon Balls and now cast new wishes just like that. He's that powerful. So when they do that, King Gomah, he actually had 2 wishes. The first wish that he really wanted to wish for was to get the third eye that can make him be powerful. And this third eye is actually from the Mad King Abura, that is actually before Deborah. But Abura was so powerful, he became a tyrant and he was causing chaos and causing havoc throughout the demon realm, so that this caused Deborah to actually get someone to steal the third eye from King Abura. And when this happened, Deborah, he now killed, or he caused Abura to be killed. This now let Deborah become the new ruler and king of the demon realm. So when we now see this third eye that Gomah he wants that wish, but he also wants the Z Fighters and all of the Z Fighters allies to become children as well. So when Gomah he gets that wish, he is actually not tricked, but he doesn't get his other wish of gaining the third eye. But that doesn't matter because his first wish has already been fulfilled, and now all of the Z Fighters were turned into children, man. It was so interesting seeing all of the Z Fighters interact with each other. Now they are children. So this causes the Z Fighters to go into the demon realm with the help of many allies, especially with the help of someone named Glorio. And Glorio is a person that was mysterious at first because he came out of nowhere, and he now basically went to Goku and the Z Fighters as children, and he told them that, look, I need your help right now. King Gomah is the reason why you guys became children. King Gomah is a mad evil tyrant right now, and he is causing a lot of chaos, a lot of havoc at my place. He's causing so much terror at the 3 demon realms, so I need your help. But Glorio's real plan was that he was actually secretly working alongside Aransu, and Aransu, she is actually really evil in this show, and her real plan is that she wants to take over the 3 demon realms by herself by stealing the 3rd eye. So this show was a big race to gain 3 things. The first thing that was a big race was to gain the 3rd eye, because Aransu, Glorio, and Gomah, they all wanted the 3rd eye. Then the second race was for the Z Fighters to gain the 3 Dragon Balls from the 3 demon worlds so that they can reverse the wish that turned them into children. And the third race was that they can get Dende, and this is because Gomah, when he landed down onto Earth, he kidnapped a child like Dende because he wanted Dende to basically grow up and be useful, because the way that the 3 Dragon Balls are used in the 3 demon worlds is that you need a Namekian to recite the real password, because the main person that created the Tamagamis, and the Tamagamis are the big giant defenders of the 3 Dragon Balls in the demon realm. So the main person that created all of these things is Neva, the legendary Namekian. So that is why they need Dende. But the thing about Neva is that Neva actually betrays Gomah, because Neva wasn't really evil to begin with. Neva is basically an old person that he kind of lost his mind a bit, so he kind of turns on Gomah, and he now actually joins with the Z Fighters later in the series, and he now helps the Z Fighters to actually reach 2 of the Tamagamis. But the thing about the Tamagamis is that, man, their fight scenes were so good. When Goku fought Tamagami number 3, I was actually so shocked in seeing how great the animation was, man. The fight was so good. I recommend you guys to watch that Tamagami number 3 fight with Goku, man. That shit was heat, and seeing Goku turn into a Super Saiyan for the first time in the show when he was a child was so good, man. I was salivating with my mouth, man. I was so starstruck, in my honest opinion, because I like the premise that they did with the kids. You know, even though they were turned into children, their powers basically were reset. So I liked seeing how Goku, Piccolo, Vegeta, and other Z Fighters had to relearn how to use their abilities and how to use their powers. And the Tamagamis, I like their tests, because the first test for every Tamagami is a physical test, but then the final test is a mental test. So I like how they did all of this. And the Tamagami number 3 mental test with Goku was that he put the Dragon Ball under this cup, and then this cup was alongside many other cups. So then the Tamagami number 3 was like rotating all these cups so fast that it was so hard to even follow. It was even hard for Supreme Kai to follow, but Goku, he knew that the Tamagami number 3 was bluffing, because the Tamagami number 3, he threw the Dragon Ball somewhere, and Goku realized that. So I like that premise. It was creative. I was like, huh, these niggas were actually cooking. And then let me talk about the Tamagami number 2. So when this happens, Vegeta, Piccolo, and Bulma now reach the demon world, because originally it was supposed to be Vegeta, Piccolo, and the other Supreme Kai. I forgot his name, but the tall Supreme Kai. It was supposed to be them, but that ship didn't work. So there is a woman in the show, and her name is Pansy. She would meet Goku in the show, and I like Pansy's character because she really did not like Gomah and his forces, man. But they were so ruthless in the show. They were just picking on the demons from Demon World 3, and they had these collars around their necks that basically would track every single movement of these demons. So when I saw Pansy, she was the person that actually caused a good distraction that helped Goku, Glorio, and Supreme Kai flee in the initial time. I like how they made her character be a no-nonsense person, but she also had a heart, and she also really just wanted everyone to be clean and everyone to be noble. But the reason why I brought her up is because her dad is basically a king of some sorts, but her dad has a militia that is actually fighting King Gomah's police force. There's one person in the dad's militia, and that person's name is Hybe, and Hybe, man, was so useless in this show that I really liked Hybe, man. Hybe was so funny in this show, but Hybe was the one that brought Vegeta, Piccolo, and Bulma to the demon world. But when Hybe did that, initially he didn't want to do that. He initially had a haircut to go to because he wanted to shave his hair, and he also had a date. I like Hybe's personality in this show because Hybe just did not take anything serious. But when Hybe brings Vegeta, Piccolo, and Bulma, Vegeta's fight with Tamagami number 2 was so good because, man, for years we have been seeing Vegeta get his ass whooped, man. For decades we have been seeing Vegeta get slapped, get cooked, get cracked every single front, from the Dragon Ball movies to the original peak Dragon Ball Z in the 1990s to Dragon Ball GT when he was getting his ass beat, man. He got beat up a lot in that show. The only time he was really good was against Baby, but we're starting to slowly see that trend of Vegeta always getting slapped and whooped slowly fading away, because we saw it in Dragon Ball Super where Vegeta, he actually got some good fights with Frieza, he got some good fights with Goku Black and with Toppo. But Vegeta in this show, he had a lot of good fights, and the really good fight that he had was against Tamagami number 2. And when he fought Tamagami number 2 in the Demon World 2's Ocean, that fight was so good because I was like, wow, I feel so happy seeing Vegeta finally win a fight, and he was confident when he won this fight. And when Vegeta, he was beating up the Tamagami number 2, man, I nearly cried because as a longtime Vegeta fan, man, I felt vindicated in knowing that Vegeta is no longer a wuss. Vegeta is no longer a pussy, man. He was never a pussy, man, but the writers were always writing him to get bitched and to get beat up left, right, and center, man. But the way that the Tamagami number 2 was defeated was kind of the same premise as the Tamagami number 3, because this second one, Vegeta also had to do a mental test, and the mental test was so creative because the Tamagami number 2 basically had Vegeta to do this big word problems, and Vegeta, he basically guessed on the answer. He guessed that the answer was 0, and the answer was actually correct. Now let's go to Tamagami number 1. There wasn't any Z fighter that faced the Tamagami number 1. It was actually a Boo, and you're asking yourself, what Boo are you talking about? Well, this Boo is a creation from Aransu. Well, to be more specific, not really Aransu, but from Marba. In this show, it reveals that Babidi wasn't really the one that actually created the Majin Buu. It was Marba. So when Aransu came to Marba, they both created 2 Boos. The first Buu was Majin Ku, and Majin Ku, he faced Tamagami number 1, and Majin Ku lost. It was so embarrassing. But when Aransu came back to Marbu, she asked to create a new, stronger Majin Buu, and this Majin Buu became Majin Duu, and Majin Duu is basically a mixture, a hybrid of Kid Buu and the big fat Majin Buu, because even though this Majin Duu is actually deranged and it's hard to control, this Majin Duu is actually really fat as well and always needs chocolate supplements to get stronger. So this is how the Tamagami number 1 loses, was because of Majin Duu. Majin Duu was so strong, and remember, we're seeing a trend in this show. The Tamagami fights were so good, were so peak, man. This Tamagami fight number 1, it was funny and comical, but it was also good at the same time. So that's how Aransu gets this Dragon Ball. But now all these are tying into the main final point of the show, and the main final point is Gomah, because Gomah, he has someone trick Hybe. The reason why I'm saying Hybe is because Hybe actually has the third eye, but it was just by coincidence. Hybe actually discovered the third eye because the third eye was misplaced when that person that Deborah sent to steal the third eye was killed when he was actually trying to flee. So Hybe, he discovered it a long time ago, and when Gomah realized that, Gomah sent someone to manipulate Hybe, and Hybe was so foolish he got easily manipulated. So this caused Gomah to receive his full power due to the third eye. And man, when he did that, that's when shit hit the fan. That's when the fight scenes turned up a notch. We already saw many great fight scenes in this show, and the final fight is peak. The final fight is 10 out of 10. I'm not glazing, man, because we see that Gomah is so strong, and Gomah, he is beating up the Z fighters. He is beating up Vegeta, he's beating up Goku, he's beating up Piccolo, he's beating up Glorio, he's beating up a lot of these Z fighters. Hell, even Aransu, she comes and she now sends Majin Ku and Majin Du to stop Gomah, because Aransu, she really wants that third eye to herself. She's not trying to help the Z fighters for the greater good. She just wants the third eye. But we're seeing that Gomah, he is too strong for them. Even when Goku, as a child, he turns into Super Saiyan 4 with the help of Neva. Neva granted Goku some good powers to turn into Super Saiyan 4. That is still not enough. We're just seeing Gomah just going to town with all of these Z fighters, and man, I really love that they actually incorporated Super Saiyan 4 in being canon, man. That is peak. I finally feel like my life is complete, because for the longest I wanted Super Saiyan 4 to be canon, and now that it's canon in Dragon Ball Daima, thank you, man. Thank God we're seeing Super Saiyan 4 get the praise that it always deserved, man. So now we're seeing this fight. We're seeing Gomah, he is actually OP. Gomah's beating up everybody. Even when it feels like the Z fighters are getting an upper hand against Gomah, Gomah still proves to be too powerful. So this causes Glorio to reach Aransu's current location, and we will actually believe that Glorio would actually still work with Aransu despite everything that happened, despite the friendships that he made during this adventure, despite all of the bonds and connection that he made. We would still believe that Glorio would actually betray the Z fighters and continue his real plan working with Aransu, but Glorio did not do that. Glorio tricked Aransu, and the way that he tricked Aransu was because they had all 3 Dragon Balls, and Aransu wanted Glorio to recite the Namekian language because Glorio knew the Namekian language, but Glorio, he did not do that. He did not let Aransu get the third eye or get her wish. Glorio actually wished for the Z fighters to become adults again so that they can gain the real power to actually stop Gomah's destruction and Gomah's rampage. So when this happened, man, Vegeta finally got some good licks against a final boss. Now, I know Vegeta did not win this fight per se, but Vegeta held his own. I was like, damn, finally we're seeing the Vegeta from the Frieza saga, where Vegeta was just beating people's asses, where Vegeta was just killing people left, right, and center. Sure, yeah, in this show, Vegeta did not kill anybody, but I'm just talking about the ruthless side of Vegeta. I'm talking about the relentless side of Vegeta. I'm talking about the Vegeta that had some real strong resiliency, because this Vegeta, even though he was getting two-piece a lot by Gomah, Vegeta actually responded with 2 pieces of his own. Vegeta was beating up Gomah a lot in this fight, so I was really happy with seeing Vegeta getting some well-deserved love, and I was also happy with seeing Vegeta turn into Super Saiyan 3, because a lot of fans were always drawn Vegeta being Super Saiyan 3, but now that it's actually canon, that is peak in my honest opinion. And man, the episode 19 ended, where we see Goku, and adult Goku, not a kid Goku. He turned into Super Saiyan 4 to fight Gomah, and that was so peak, man. You know what? I can't even say what I nearly did, or else this video would be demonetized, because Goku turning Super Saiyan 4 made me realize that, damn, Dragon Ball Daima is a 10 out of 10 show right now. It is so peak, in my honest opinion. I'm not even glazing. You guys have to watch this show. And this show had many small funny scenes, in my honest opinion. I won't go into all the funny scenes. The only scene I will go into is actually in episode 19, where we see Vegeta. He is actually talked down by Bulma to stop fighting, because if he doesn't stop fighting, he will stop taking baths with Bulma. And that made me realize that, damn, Vegeta is a real freak. He's a real gooner, man. But I think that's not the end of Dragon Ball Daima yet. I think we still have to reach the last episode, because when episode 19 ended, Gomah has not been defeated yet. So I am patiently and eagerly waiting on that last episode, man. This was peak. Dragon Ball Daima is peak. It's a great show, and so far we're seeing that on IMDb it has an 8 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes 100%. I agree with these ratings, man. I agree with these reviews. You have to watch this show, man. As the end of the video, I'm out. Peace.